At exactly 2:17 a.m., something unusual happened. Oriv woke up without knowing why. There was no sound, no nightmare, no movement in the room, yet his heart was racing, as if some invisible signal had pulled him out of sleep. The room was silent. The ceiling fan rotated lazily, slicing through the darkness with a soft mechanical hum. Pale yellow light from the street lamp outside slipped through the curtains, barely illuminating the walls. Everything looked normal, except for one thing: the bedroom door. It stood slightly open. That detail felt wrong. Every night before sleeping, the door was always shut. It was a habit, repeated with unconscious precision. There was never any uncertainty about it. But now, the gap was undeniable. And then it moved. Just a fraction. A tiny shift, almost too subtle to notice, yet impossible to ignore. The air in the room felt heavier. Oriv remained still, staring into the darkness beyond the doorway. The silence deepened, thick and unnatural, as though the entire apartment had paused. Moments passed. Then came the realization. No breeze could move that door. No one else was inside the apartment. Yet the unease continued to grow. The phone was within reach. With trembling hands, Oriv activated the flashlight. A sharp beam of white light cut through the shadows, stretching across the floor and into the hallway. Nothing. The corridor appeared empty. The kitchen remained dark. The living room showed no sign of disturbance. But something had changed. At the far end of the hallway, where there had always been a plain wall, there was now a door. A solid wooden door that had never existed before. Its presence carried a disturbing certainty, as if it had always been there, yet the mind refused to accept it. The design matched the others. Same wood, same handle, same proportions. But the familiarity only intensified the fear. Step by step, Oriv approached. Each movement felt slower than the last, as though the distance itself resisted being crossed. The handle came into view, and with it, the cold. An unnatural coldness radiated from the metal surface, sending a sharp chill through the skin. Not the mild coolness of night air, but the biting temperature of something profoundly out of place. Still, curiosity overpowered hesitation. The handle turned effortlessly. No resistance. No sound. The door opened. The flashlight's beam slipped inside, and reality fractured. Beyond the doorway stood a room, a perfect replica of the bedroom. Identical walls, identical furniture, identical shadows. Even the smallest details aligned with impossible accuracy. But the true horror lay on the bed. A figure rested there, still, unmoving, wearing the same clothes, bearing the same face. It was Oriv, or rather, something that looked exactly like him. The mind struggled to process the image. Thoughts collapsed into disbelief. The impossible scene stretched endlessly within the silence. Then the figure shifted. Not abruptly, not violently, but slowly, deliberately. Eyes opened. Movements followed. Smooth, controlled, unnervingly precise. And in that moment, an unspoken understanding emerged. Something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. The air itself seemed to recoil. The flashlight flickered. The shadows twisted. Darkness swallowed everything for a single breathless instant. And when the light returned, the room was gone. The hallway was empty. The door had vanished. Only the original wall remained, blank and undisturbed, as though nothing had ever existed there. Time had barely moved. The phone screen still glowed. The apartment was silent once more. Yet a final detail lingered. A notification. From an unknown sender. A single message appeared. Cold. Simple. Terrifying. Morning arrived with an unsettling sense of normalcy. Sunlight filled the apartment. Familiar sounds returned. Distant traffic, muffled footsteps from neighboring units, the ordinary rhythm of daily life. Everything appeared unchanged. Yet something was wrong. Not in the room. Not in the hallway. But in the details. The bedroom door, once a trivial object, now carried a silent tension. The hallway wall, the same wall where the mysterious door had appeared, felt impossible to look at without discomfort. The mind attempted to rationalize. A dream. Sleep paralysis. A trick of exhaustion. But logic struggled against memory. Because the memory felt real. Too real. Time passed. Hours slipped by. The unease never left. By evening, the apartment grew quiet again. Shadows reclaimed their places. Darkness spread slowly across the walls. And with night came anticipation. Not fear, not curiosity, but expectation, as though something unfinished waited patiently. At 2:17 a.m., it happened again. Oriv's eyes opened instantly. No transition from sleep. No grogginess. Only awareness. The room was darker than before. The silence heavier. And the bedroom door was already open. This time, there was no movement. No subtle shift. No warning. Just the cold certainty of the unknown. The flashlight activated. The beam cut through the darkness. And once again, the hallway revealed the impossible. The door had returned. Same position. Same shape. Same quiet invitation. But now, something had changed. The door was slightly ajar. As if waiting. As if expecting. The air felt different, charged with an invisible pressure that seemed to vibrate beneath the skin. Approaching, it felt inevitable. Like walking towards something predecided. The gap widened. The light entered. And reality twisted further. The replicated bedroom remained. But it was no longer empty. The bed stood untouched. The furniture unchanged. Yet the walls were covered in photographs. Dozens. Hundreds. Every surface filled. Each image captured a single subject. Oriv. Sleeping. Walking. Standing. Watching. Images taken from impossible angles. Impossible distances. Moments that should never have been observed. Moments that could not have been recorded. The realization crept in slowly. This was not a reflection. Not a duplicate. But surveillance. A silent observation extending far beyond understanding. Then came the final discovery. At the center of the room stood a mirror. Large. Unavoidable. The flashlight beam drifted toward it. And froze. The reflection did not match reality. The room appeared. The photographs remained. But the figure holding the light was not Oriv. The face was identical. Yet the expression was not. The posture was not. And the eyes carried a stillness no living presence should possess. A presence that did not mimic, but observed. The flashlight flickered violently. Darkness surged forward. And in the final instant before the light vanished, the reflection smiled. Knowingly. Deliberately. As though it had been waiting far longer than anyone could imagine. Silence consumed everything. And when awareness returned, the apartment was intact. The hallway empty. The wall unchanged. But one final detail remained. The phone screen. Still glowing. Still awake. Displaying a new message.